We both had relatively short but illustrious careers in the fast food industry. I worked at Burger King. Bill apparently was very, very good at Little Caesars for a while in Evanston. And we also, this is true, we share a birthday. We were both born on September 21st. Right, which makes us Virgos, but cuspy Virgos. So sorta Virgo, sorta Libra. And if you follow astrology, you know that that really means nothing. We both own baseball teams. Except Bill has like 5 baseball teams, and I just have the one. We both have probably spent too much time partying with our siblings. Neither of us have an agent. Another thing we have in common. And although I don't call myself a big superstar or anything like that, I'm on TV a little bit too. So, anyway, I have so much in common with Bill. I think the only thing that I don't have in common, and it pains me so much tonight because I'm just having such a great time, such a fabulous event, is I'm not really Irish. And no matter that I married a beautiful Irish girl from Chicago, no matter how many priests I know, no matter how many times I've been to Ireland, no matter how much bad golf I play, no matter how much Guinness I drink, and no matter how mad I still am for the British and their expansionist military policy in the 12th century, that and the superstar thing might be the only 2 things that Bill and I don't have in common. So, while I do have a number of things in common with Bill, what I do have, one great thing in common I have with pretty much everyone in the free world is I love Bill Murray. Bill is truly one of a kind. He is one of the better actors of our age and one of the greatest comedians in the history of time. On screen, he brings a humanity and a subtle, intelligent wit to every role he performs. He has an uncanny sixth sense for what it takes to reach an audience, and he makes even the most flawed characters real and human. And of course, he makes all of us laugh and laugh and laugh. Off screen, I've got to know Bill a little bit, and he brings a warmth and humor to everyone he meets and everything he does. I love the fact that, unlike most people that I meet who are in the film industry or wherever, he's actually much funnier in person than he is on screen. You guys all know that. I love the way that he's so close to his family. I love the fact that he shows up for all of his son's basketball games and the NCAA tournament. And you know, on a very, very personal note, I love Bill for the way, and I really appreciate him for the way he treats my executive assistant, Lorraine, who a lot of people call her for tickets, and she's just a gate on the way to a better seat at Wrigley Field. But Bill always takes the time to talk to her, and he makes her feel very, very special. He makes her feel appreciated, and she cherishes those interactions. And it just shows what kind of great character Bill really has when he treats people the way he does. So, and of course, we do have one last thing in common. We're both pretty much Cub fans. Bill does watch a lot of baseball. Not only is he a fan, and not only has he come to a lot of Cubs games and done a lot of favors for the team over the years, but I don't know how many of you remember when Harry Carey was sick, I believe in 1987 or around that time. Bill stepped in as color commentator with Steve Stone and did the funniest 3 hours of baseball ever. It was a classic, and I still remember watching it. I remember where I was when I watched it. It was the most amazing baseball broadcast of all time. So when you add up the incredible performer, the incredible person, and the diehard fan, I can think of no one better to induct into the Irish American Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bill Murray.
First of all, I have no real problem with the Chicago White Sox.
I think they were wearing navy.
Except for those few times a year when they have the nerve to challenge the Chicago Cubs. And I'd like to just say, how about how good these Ricketts kids turned out, huh? There they were, stranded, in the middle of nowhere out there in Nebraska. And they all had the courage and the fortitude to fight their way to Chicago. Couldn't be happier for the choices you made. And the whole family, the Ricketts, have done a really nice job. And I just want to say, there's a picture on the screen. I think you all see it. You know what it looks like. You know what the river looks like on the 17th of March. And there's only one time when that green river would ever genuflect, and that was to the one time when it was dyed blue this year. Now, I'm sorry, when I get around this many Irish people, all I can think is, oh God, we have homework. And I haven't done it. I have not prepared a single thing at all. And I started calling people going, hey, I gotta talk tonight. I don't know what the hell this thing is at all. I have no idea. And they're like, you're gonna be fine, you're gonna be fine. You're usually fine. And so one said, well, you could try the old Irish Alzheimer's joke, the Irishman gets Alzheimer's, forgets everything but his grudges. A lot of you heard that one. So I'm gonna let that go. So but I knew that what would happen tonight, and what has truly happened, is that there has been a flood of impressions. That's not how I work. That's not how I work. That was a coincidence. But there really has been a flood of impressions. It's the only way to describe it. To see all these connections that are made here, when, the professor talks, or, someone, there's so many connections. Your families and our families are connected in so many ways. I think about Audie Murphy. I'll go backwards. My remarks will wander a bit. Some of you might, you're my favorite too. You are my favorite. I was hoping when I saw you, she better be up there when I'm up there, or it's not going to be a great night for me. It's not going to be great. But maybe you guys want to get a lounge chair, because I'm going to go on and on, Tom. Of Chicago Cubs reading glasses. I don't know where the hell you find these things. But I want to start from the beginning. So, gentlemen, take your jackets off. Ladies, unhook anything. Our eldest ancestors came over on the boat, husband and wife, and of course, she was pregnant. So because she was pregnant, Ms. Doyle was incarcerated, or held over, as they say, in Ellis Island until the baby could be born and found to be okay and healthy and everything. That took about 6 or 7 weeks, at which time she came ashore, and she was separated from her husband, who went someplace downtown. And not only, by the time she found Old Man Doyle, she had not only found an apartment, got a job, and paid off the bill at Ellis Island. She paid for the apartment before she found him in the street. And she really found him in the street too. It was corned beef on rye all over his face and neck for many days. So that's how I got here. And then from there it goes to my father, who in 1960 took me over to OLPH. How many of you ever come in late and ask in Glenview? And there was a guy from Massachusetts who was speaking there, and the place was very crowded inside the church at OLPH, much more crowded than for the high mass ever. And we stood outside and listened to John F. Kennedy speak through these speakers outside. And when John F. Kennedy came out, my father, to this day, for many years I didn't understand, but he just pushed me all the way through all these people, through the Secret Service, and pushed me right into the man who would be the President of the United States. That was our dad who did that. So, the story of this man. I want to thank Brian Noonan for going on. And I want to thank Brian O'Brien for so many things. My father also, my name is William James Murray. I'm named after my uncle. See that? Hey, I came a long ways. I was in Slovenia 2 days ago. I'm tired. I'm named William James Murray after my Uncle Bill, who used to give me $1 every time he saw me, which wasn't that often. That's why it took a while to amass the kind of money that I got now. And my middle name is James after my father's great friend Jimmy O'Donnell, who my father carried to school when Jimmy O'Donnell broke his leg. He carried him to school, and when my father died, he said, "I'm very happy to return the favor and carry your dad." My grandfather was a funny man, probably the real source of my humor. He had licorice in his pockets, and he was a very funny man. Actually, would pop out his lower false teeth at all the grandchildren and just frighten the hell out of them, just terrified them, and say about my grandmother out of range, "You old bitch, get her." She always acted like she couldn't hear him. But he was. He had a good career as a businessman, and then because he was lively and he lived to be very old, he got a job working at the funeral home down in St. Gertrude's Parish. He didn't really have a job, but he would go to the funerals, the wakes of people who had no real mourners. So he would be there and talk with the widow or the grieving one as if he were their friend. And he had that kind of gift, that kind of grace, that he could step in. And that's what I see of all the people that are spoken about here tonight. There's a grace that falls on us. And you're taught to catch it, you're told to catch it, but it's up to you to catch it. Who we are and where we came from. We all came from, our ancestors came from across the sea, and we're all fertilized by all the bodies and the lives of those black and white photographs that we saw on the screen. And the ones that are being mentioned tonight are people